boy. Hi, my name's KB. This is KB Reads. Am I focused? I feel overexposed. Let me try showing these blinds. Is that better? That's better. Okay. It is, what, the 3rd of April? I don't know what day it is. It's April. It's rainy. It's cold. I thought it would be fun to sit down, talk about the books that I read in March, and update my book blanket with you. So, I'm not sure how this is going to work because Nugget is very clingy right now, so we'll have to see. Okay. Now, I have to go through these kind of fast because my camera doesn't have full battery, but that shouldn't be a problem because I only read 4 books this month. Let me just quickly talk about my blanket, okay? This is a wattle stitch. I thought it was waffle stitch, but I think there is also a waffle stitch. Basically, this is a book genre blanket, so each book I read is 2 rows, and the color is based on the genre of the book. So I have, let me see, I think 6 different colors. Yeah, no, 5. So I read more than 5 genres, so I had to like push and pull some, like horror and thriller are together. They are both brown, and then like fantasy, sci-fi, dystopian, those are all in one. Romance is its own. Lit fic, historical fiction, other, that's its own thing. And then I also have nonfiction, which I think is going to be pretty light considering I've only read one nonfiction book so far this year. And that was in March. So, this first stripe here, this latest one, this was for the rest of the year. This was in March. I had already, no. This Heather Brown, this was lit fic, and that is for the Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride, which was the first book that I finished in March. I'm including it because, 1, I finished it in March, 2, I only had 3 other books that I read in March. So yeah, this is I guess it's more of a historical fiction, but I enjoyed it. It was fine. It was good. I gave it 3 stars. Nugget. I gave it 3 stars. This is a historical fiction story. It's set in Pottstown, PA, during like the 1920s and 1930s, and it follows the Jewish and Black communities in town. So it's about, communities coming together. I liked it a lot. I liked the characters in here a lot. What I found lacking, I guess not found lacking, it's too long, I think. It feels like nothing really happens. Even though a lot is happening, it has like the writing style where it feels like nothing's happening, if that makes sense. Which I like for a lot of books. It didn't work for me here. I guess maybe that doesn't work for me in historical fiction, but I would recommend it to people who want to learn, more about Judaism and rural PA in the past, which I'm from Pennsylvania, so that facet of it was interesting to me. That's all I really have to say about it. So that 2 rows is already done. I'm going to pick up where I left off. Here, let's see if I can remember the stitch. For the next book, I'm going to attach white. Alright, Nugget, I think you have to move now. He wants to get under my blanket that doesn't exist yet. He's like huddling under it. Okay, so I'm just going to attach on my yarn and chain 1, Okay, and then I think I just go into the chain one space, single crochet, chain one, double crochet. And that's the repeat. Ooh, this yarn is squeaking. Ugh, I'm already messing up. I'm not 100% sure that's how I'm supposed to do this. You can't. Okay, sit. Good boy. Okay, is that good? Is that comfy? Okay, so I'm attaching white for romance because I read Book Lovers by Emily Henry. And I annotated it, which was super fun. I haven't annotated a book in so long, and it was just a really fun reading experience. Well, first, I'll say what it's about. This is about a, like, city slicker girl, and it's kind of playing on the small town trope, where, like, you know, your main character goes to a small town and falls in love, and she, like, describes herself as, like, the workaholic villain that the guy leaves for the small town girl. I thought it was super fun. Like, when I was reading it, I was obsessed. Now that I've finished, I wouldn't say I think about it too much, but I think that's because the banter was so good. Like, it made me so giddy in the moment. And, like, some of the quotes are still in my brain of just, like, how much this man was obsessed with this girl. And that's, like, one of my favorite things, is when a man is obsessed with a woman. That being said, I don't think about it too much now after the fact, which is fine. I mean, that's how a lot of romance is for me. I think I will pick up more Emily Henry. This was my first one, if I hadn't said that yet. I did give it 4 stars, so, I mean, I must have liked it in the moment. So yeah, I also own Happy Place. That one's like second chance romance. Am I right? Tell me if I'm wrong. But I do plan on reading that. I haven't read very many second chance romances, so I don't know how much I'll like it, but we're experimenting in 2024. The good part too is, I've been meaning to read Emily Henry for a long time. I started Beach Read, but I started it on audio, and then I literally could not handle hearing the word Gus over and over. Sorry, but hearing the name Gus, it was like, it just made me physically uncomfortable, especially if you live in PA and you know Gus, the second most famous groundhog in PA. Like, that's what I had in my head when I was reading Beach Read. So I don't think that one's going to work for me. But hopefully Happy Place will hit the mark. So I liked that a lot. Okay, I'm going to finish up doing these stitches, and I'll come back with a full, nice, pretty stripe for you. Oh, one thing I do want to say, my favorite thing about this book was setting, and having, like, both setting descriptions of New York City and a small town. Like I said, I'm from PA, I'm from a small town. But also, I lived in New York City for a couple years after college. And, like, I felt so homesick reading this book, and, like, the descriptions of just, like, the community and the people. I missed it so much. But it was also so validating to read this and have the main character, Nora, talk about, you know, her time in the city and her time in the small town, and, like, realizing that everybody has multiple homes, everybody has, like, different places where they feel like they belong and that they love, and all of those places are valid. So yeah, I miss my city life, and I really loved the descriptions of, like, her little apartment, and, you know, like, the fire escapes, the, you know, food carts, and it made me feel very bittersweet. It made me feel like I missed it, but I also feel like it gave me, like, really nice closure on that part of my life, if that makes sense. Yeah. So that's Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I look forward to reading more, more by her, but I'm not in a huge hurry. I don't think I'm an Emily Henry girly. I wish I was. Alright. We're back. I'm snipping off my white. My romance is done. Now I'm going to attach my brown, which is for horror/thriller. This month I read one thriller, and that is The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth. This is my first Sally Hepworth, and I loved it. I gave it 4 stars, so let's talk about it. Let me attach my brown. Okay. Now, this is my first thriller of the year. This was a horror down here. This was Mayfly. This is a very different speed. Here. Come here. Settle there. Okay. So, this story, it follows 2 sisters. We love sister stories. One sister named Rose, who she's trying to get pregnant, but she's having issues with it. And then her sister, her twin sister named Fern, who decides that she's going to get pregnant with a guy so that she can give the baby to her sister without Rose knowing. It's told through like Fern's point of view, but there's like Rose's diary interspersed throughout the book. Things start not adding up very quickly, and it gets pretty intense, I would say. I mean, I think this was a really, really fun thriller. I wouldn't say I was shocked. Well, there were definitely moments of being like, whoa, what just happened? But there wasn't like one really memorable plot twist, which is actually something that I look for in thrillers, because I want a book to work without relying on like a really big plot twist, if that makes sense. I really cared about the characters in this book. I was rooting for them, and that is so rare for me with a thriller book. I feel like the character themselves often like fall to the wayside in thrillers and aren't explored enough. But I love Fern. I loved Rose. I loved the other like romance characters. Fern is like coded autistic, like autistically coded. And Rose has diabetes, so there's like representation for those things. It's not explicit that Fern is autistic, but she has like some major like sensory disorder things. But yeah, it was well paced. It was interesting the whole time. I was hooked the whole time, just for like the drama of it all. And then when it became more thrilling and exciting, you know, I was worried about our characters. I was stressing for them. So that's like the sign of a really good thriller to me, and I'm definitely plan on reading more. I definitely plan on reading more Sally Hepworth, going into her backlist. I know she has a new release coming out, I think either this month or next month. I only know because I saw a Book of the Month ad for it, which maybe I'll pick that up. I don't know if I said it, but I gave it 4 stars. I haven't like felt this passionate or like this excited about a thriller book since I read No Exit by Taylor Adams, which I loved, and also was like, didn't rely on a plot twist. It was just exciting the whole time. It was thrilling, if you will, the whole time. I guess what I need is for a thriller to have like really good pacing and pretty good characters. If you have recommendations for that, please like let me know. I'm sorry that my camera keeps going in and out of focus. I don't know why that's happening. Alright, I will meet you when I'm done with the brown stripes. But this is how it's looking so far. Okay. Got our brown done. We'll snip this off and start on our last book. I'm kind of happy I only read 3 books because, like, it kind of takes a lot of time to update it all at once. Next book is the only one I don't have a physical copy of with me, although I own one. I have no idea where it is. I read In the Garden of Beasts, Love, Terror, and An American Family in Hitler's Berlin by Erik Larson. Okay. This was kind of a disappointment for me, not because it wasn't good, just because it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. This book is the first time this light pink is coming into the blanket at all. This is my first nonfiction of the year. Super exciting. In the Garden of the Beasts, I don't know if there's a "the" or not. This is my 3rd Erik Larson book that I've read. I've also read Dead Wake and Devil in the White City. I liked both of those more than I liked this one, which is weird. I was expecting to like this one the most out of all 3 of those. This follows the American ambassador who's like assigned to Berlin in the years like approaching World War II and the Holocaust. So he's kind of like seeing the crimes against Jewish people and reporting on them, telling the president, and it's kind of all about how the people in charge let this happen, how both like Germany's government and the governments of other countries allowed this terrible tragedy to happen and how it escalates. So yeah, I liked it. I liked the story, but also like what I just said summarizes almost the whole story. You don't really care about the characters very much in the way I did in the other books, and it could have been about 200 pages shorter. Like, I'm not even joking. That's it. I gave this 3 stars. Honestly, it might be like more like a 2.5, but I guess I'm just disappointed. The first 300 pages were hard for me to get through. It took me so long, and I was reading on my Kindle, which usually I read faster on my Kindle. The last 60 pages of this book were really good, but that was kind of it. That was all I was really into. So, if it's not your main, like, focus of study, then I don't really know that it's worth the read. I think you could read a summary and get as much out of it as I got. So, there's that. Man, I really didn't have very much to say about that at all. I feel bad, though, because, like, I liked it. It just, the characters weren't likable. I don't feel like they didn't feel very real, and I feel like his writing style in this was not as good as like in the Lusitania or I mean like in Dead Wake and in Devil in the White City. But maybe that's just me. I mean, if you read it, let me know what you think, because I know this is like one of his most popular, if not his most popular book. Like this and Devil in the White City are definitely his 2 most popular. So, I'm just a little disappointed. I thought it was going to be a favorite, so, oh well. A little bit of a flop. Nevertheless, I've been meaning to read it for years, so it's good that I finally read it. Alright, I'm going to finish up this pink stripe. A lot of small stripes. And then I'll come back and we'll wrap it up. Right, Nugget? Right, Nugget? You can only see your little ears. Look up here. Good boy. Good boy. Look how cute you are. Done with the pink, which means we're finished up updating this blanket for March. My scissors are so blunt. Please come off. Okay. Put in my stitch marker to hold my spot. And then it's ready for April's books. So this is what it looks like so far. Let's count how many books I've read. That'll be fun. 14? That doesn't sound right. Am I missing some? Let me double check. I could have sworn I read more than 14 books. My thing says I've read 15. What am I missing? Oh, I miscounted. Oh no, I messed up this. I've only read 14. But this, my Goodreads, there was a mistake. It's saying that I read it twice. I need about 70 books to finish this blanket, so that's kind of my goal for the year. My official Goodreads goal is about 65, so I am behind. I want to have my blanket done. That's my main goal. But also, I just read books to have fun, so that's where I'm at on that. I read some bangers in March, hoping for some bangers in April, hoping for a 5-star. I've only had a couple 5-stars this year, and most of them were in January, so fingers crossed for that. And I will see you in April. I'll be coming out with more videos soon. My Instagram and Etsy shop are linked in the description if you're interested in more book and crochet content. And stick around because I think this will be a cool way to see my blanket progress throughout the year. So I'm excited for that. I'm sorry about the camera focus if that bothered you. I don't understand. I have to figure out how to fix it. But I'll see you next time. Thank you.